All right, it is 6 p.m. and I will call this meeting of the Lunenburg Town Council to order. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we're in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. And with that, I will look for a motion to approve the agenda. Moved by Councillor Bertle, seconded by Councillor Sanford. Any discussion or debate, additions, deletions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The motion is carried. That takes us on to the meeting minutes of November 8th. If I could get a motion to approve those as circulated. Moved by Councillor Duggan, seconded by the Deputy Mayor. All those in favor? Opposed? The motion is carried. We have no public hearings, presentations, or questions. That takes us on to correspondence. There is a piece of correspondence from the trustees of the Lunenburg Common Lands. There is a draft motion provided. I don't know if staff would like to speak to this, CAO.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You caught me mid cough drop here. In this item, there's been some movement afoot. It predates me, of course, and perhaps Councillor or Deputy Mayor Mosher could also add to this. There's a sections of lands noted as the common lands, and whether or not we should be donating it for protection. There's been a few committee members. I'm not familiar with who they are, but there's a lot of concerns about access to these public lands that need to be sorted out. And this particular motion would simply be the ability for staff to understand if it's feasible or not and what public sentiment is before recommending that the land be transferred. Deputy Mayor Mosher, I don't know if I missed anything, but from the last meeting I was part of, that was it.
Okay. Any comments, questions, discussion, debate? Councillor House?
Just doesn't indicate in here where those common lands are. Like we could point that out.
I don't have a map handy, so I'm going to have to get Deputy Mayor Mosher to point that out for you.
Well, they're basically between, I would say, Garden Lots and Blue Rocks, that long stretch as you go down there to your left as you're going down the Blue Rocks. It's basically from there over to Tanner's Pass, I guess. So it's quite a swath of land. And over the years, it's been managed by this committee, and it's just becoming hard to manage. The committee doesn't meet. It's councils change, different people go on, and all of a sudden there's nothing done with this. It's just kind of forgotten about for years. And I think when Errol Knickel was on council and MODL, he started bringing this to their attention. And the fact that, a lot of it's being encroached on, a lot of it's being, used public, privately. And it's, the intent was, back in the early days, that's where town people would go to cut wood or things like that, so I think, and that's so the quest to the land stays, virgin and pure would be to put it into this trust that they would keep it, that everyone could enjoy it instead of, opposed being encroached on or opposed to being misused.
Okay. Anything else? There's a draft motion as presented. Is it anyone's pleasure to move that? Moved by Councillor Ernst, seconded by Councillor Halverson. Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried and staff are so authorized. There's another piece of correspondence there from the municipality of District of Yarmouth for information. That takes us on to new business. We have the RCMP quarterly report. Staff Sergeant Whalen is not with us, so we will skip that and return to it if he shows up. And if not, I'm sure he'll be able to present that at the next council meeting. And that takes us on to the annual deputy mayor appointment. So I will open the floor then for nominations for deputy mayor. So Councillor Bertle.
I nominate Deputy Mayor Peter Mosher right now.
Okay, Councillor Mosher, do you accept that nomination? Are there any further nominations? Oh, Councillor Ernst.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Halverson.
Councillor Halverson. Any further nominations? You're allowed to nominate yourself. All right. Seeing none, you've all been provided with ballots before the meeting. The two candidates are, did I make sure that Councillor, I know you do, but did I make sure that you accepted the nomination?
You didn't, but I do.
Okay. Sorry about that. You all know who they are. We will vote by secret ballot and then confirm the successful candidate by motion. And perhaps as in years previous, the finance director would be so kind to, just so two people have their eyes on the ballots, you normally take them over into the barrister's room. The suspense will kill us, but. All right, I have just been presented and Councillor Peter Mosier will take another year as deputy mayor. So we will put Peter's name into that motion. And now can I get a motion to approve that motion? We'll allow Councillor Halverson the privilege of being the mover. Councillor Bertels is the seconder. Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The motion is carried. You
Thanks,
wanted
Your
to,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I want to, well, thank you all again. It's no better compliment is that when, you know, your peers support you, and I appreciate that. I think Matt and I do make a good combination as mayor and deputy mayor, and I hope we can continue to do that and support council along the way. Another thing that I'd like for you to consider for next week, we'll let staff perhaps create a motion for it. So it's something I thought about even in the last time. And this is a hardworking council, and I think it should be reflected a little more in terms of your remuneration. So I'd like to give up $1,000 out of my salary and distribute it to the five of you. You know, we won't be having any impact in the budget, but you know, we all work together, and sometimes I feel that this, you know, the spread between deputy mayor and council is a little, you know, more than the workload warrants, especially with you guys, you're a hardworking council. So if staff could do that, maybe bring forward a motion to that effect, and, you know, make it that it works for your pay schedule and that kind of thing.
okay, we'll take that under advisement and bring it forward to a future meeting if everybody's amenable to that from Councillor Moser. Okay. All right. That takes us on to capital project status updates. Town engineer.
Thank you, Your Worship. This latest capital status update follows on from our September 13th update. Going through the projects, so the Duke Street and Prince Street reconstructions. The road construction was completed in late October and the roads have been reopened. This project was completed on time and within the updated budget approved by council. Tannery Road water main replacement. The new water and storm system infrastructure is in place and creating improvements to our system. The reinstatement work is ongoing, but we're getting very close to be completed, and I would expect in the next week or two that should be done. The town has incurred some additional costs, mainly due to rock removal required in the trench, and also locating the existing infrastructure, and some additional time was required in the schedule. The Blue Nose Drive sewer lining project. Lining of the sewer lines along Blue Nose Drive leading into the Blue Nose lift station to help combat saltwater intrusion was completed on time and within the updated budget. The tree planting, 24 trees were planted by Public Works over a 3-day period. The Tannery Road sidewalk. We are nearing completion of the design to allow us to go to tender and work to be formed in spring of 2023, as we've talked about previously. The waterline loop connection at Harbourview and Morash. This project is in the design phase for the addition to the town's water system. Again, this is expected to allow us to proceed with tendering in spring of 2023. That completes the update.
Thank you, Tyson. Any comments or questions at this stage? Okay, seeing none, I do want to say, congratulations on, I know you only started in May and Lisa in January, was it? Yeah, so I think the work we've been able to get done to date under the leadership of the two of you has been impressive, and we're all excited to see what's coming in the capital budget. I think we have a committee of the whole meeting next week to see what else is going to get done in future years. All right, that takes us on to 9.4, which is a grant request from the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. I assume the finance director would like to speak to that.
Excuse me. Thank you, Your Worship. This grant request, though council is receiving it late, was received on time. But unfortunately, it was inadvertently missed in a barrage of emails. So we have endeavored to set up a new dedicated email account for grants for future years. The St. Vincent de Paul is a group that council has supported in the past. They're requesting $1,800. The staff are recommending that we award this grant. This would be the same recommendation I would have brought forth in the spring had it been included with the other grants. This is a program I regularly hear from residents that are accessing these types of supports. With consideration in the spring, council did reduce the grant budget, so there would have to be a return of some of those monies that were allocated to the reserves if council wishes to support this grant. There are some draft motions there for your consideration.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Anybody's pleasure to move the draft motions as circulated? Moved by the deputy mayor, seconded by Councillor Halverson. Discussion, debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The motion is carried. There are no in-camera items, and there being no further business, I declare the meeting adjourned.